Ohio? More like, oh hell no. As in, oh hell no, you don't want to find yourself at least in the 10 places that are on this list. Oh, and by the way, no other state has a list of the 10 most dangerous cities, just Ohio. So that's why I'm only making a video like this for Ohio, because no other state has 10 cities that are the most dangerous in that state.
Bruh.
Come on, people. All right, well, what are the 10 most dangerous cities in Ohio? Let's see what's behind door number 10.
Number 10 is Portsmouth.
Never heard of it.
Portsmouth is along the Ohio River, which also serves as Ohio's border with Kentucky. If you ever want to see the place for yourself, have fun trying to get here from anywhere else in the country. It's geographically isolated mostly due to the semi-Appalachian terrain that surrounds the Ohio and Scioto River valleys. Well, I did go here, so you didn't have to, and this was my first impression.
Welcome to Portsmouth, Ohio, and it smells like straight up sewer in this BI. Really. Just kidding, but actually, I'm not, because it actually kind of does.
Portsmouth has the 10th highest violent crime rate out of all of Ohio's cities. The violent crime rate is 748 per 100,000 residents, while the property crime rate is over 4,100 per 100,000 residents. Really, the property crime rate is more concerning than the violent crime rate is. Even more concerning than these crime rates, though, would be how the opioid crisis has hit this area. Portsmouth is the county seat of Scioto County, and unfortunately, Scioto County has had the highest drug overdose death rates in the state for a long period of time. Much of the crime committed in Portsmouth is drug-related. This article from statenews.org highlights a story of a local driving around and showing the journalists different parts of town, but illustrates just how many treatment centers there are in town because of the opioid crisis, which I thought was very telling.
Gee, you think?
Plus, it doesn't help that the economy here is abysmal. The median household income is just $35,000 per year, while the poverty rate is just shy of 40%, making it one of the higher poverty rates for a city in the entire country. Hopefully things can trend in a different direction for Portsmouth in the future, but a lot of work needs to be done in order for that to happen. Next up on our list is a place that is much more recognizable to the masses. Number 9 is Cincinnati.
We're on to Cincinnati.
I actually like Cincinnati. Aside from the sports teams and the crime rates, the city has great character compared to other nearby large cities like Indianapolis, Louisville, and Columbus, Ohio. Plus, Cincinnati has gotten a lot better in this area, and after years of population decline, the city is actually seeing population growth again, so that's good, and I'm hoping that continues. But the violent crime rate here is still twice the national rate, and it keeps Cincinnati on this list. The violent crime rate is 767 per 100,000 residents, while the property crime rate is over 4,000 per 100,000 residents. Overall, downtown Cincinnati is generally safe.
He had great credibility until he said that.
You can enjoy a night out on the town most nights, unless you can't. The most dangerous neighborhoods in Cincinnati historically have been Over the Rhine, Price Hill, and the Fairmount neighborhoods. So avoid those, and you should be alright. Downtown Cincinnati is home to several offices for major companies, but a lot of people who work in downtown Cincinnati live out in the suburbs, and the inner city still faces a lot of issues that a lot of inner cities face across the country.
You don't say.
At least 1 out of every 5 Cincinnati residents lives in poverty, and that's never a good thing. The city schools aren't the greatest either, which keeps young families out in the suburbs. So overall, I think that Cincinnati, or the Nasty Natty, is a cool city. It's just not the best to live in. Yet. Maybe they can keep up the positive momentum and maybe they can continue to make it a better place to live. Well, we're going to be heading to the opposite side of the state for the next city on this list. Number 8 is Akron.
Duh.
Oh yes, Akron, Ohio, nicknamed the Rubber City due to its history of relying on tire manufacturing. These days, you're more likely to see a rubber on the street than you are a tire factory.
Good one. Not.
The violent crime rate is 776 per 100,000 residents, while the property crime rate is just shy of 3,000 per 100,000 residents. Lots of things have contributed towards Akron's population decline over the years, and the crime rates haven't helped. Additionally, the poverty rate here is 22.8%. That's a rate of having nearly 1 out of every 4 residents living in poverty. Not good. While Firestone might have merged with Bridgestone and moved its operations to Nashville years ago, Goodyear is still headquartered in Akron, which helps keep some hope alive for the local economy. Otherwise, there's not too many high-paying jobs in this town, which encourages young people to move elsewhere for better opportunities. Before we move on to the next place on our list, it's time for a word from this video's sponsor.
Thought you were slick, huh? Guess not, but don't worry. Call Wallside Bail Bonds at 555-5555 and we'll get you out of the slammer in no time. That's Wallside Bail Bonds. We ask you to keep breaking the law and help keep us in business.
Number 7 is Whitehall.
Is that even a real place?
Only fitting that there's a fresh layer of white snow once I haul my ass down to Whitehall, Ohio.
Nice work, genius.
With a population of around 20,000, Whitehall is a suburb of Columbus. It's pretty much due east from downtown, just south of the airport. Whitehall has long been listed as one of the more dangerous cities in Ohio. Being surrounded by Columbus on all sides, it's basically like an inner-city neighborhood of Columbus. Might as well be. Whitehall is the first place on this list to hit the 4-digit per 100,000 residents category with its violent crime. It's not quite 3 times the national rate, but it's close. Economically, the median household income is just over $50,000 per year, and the poverty rate is 17.3%. Those definitely aren't the worst numbers that we've seen or will see on this list as it goes forward, but it's also nothing to brag about. A lot of Whitehall is just old housing, old apartment complexes, old strip malls, and unfortunately, a lot of crime. That's pretty typical though for any urban area that's right next to a major airport. Well, next up on this list is a place that loves living in the past, and it does its best to ignore its present. Number 6 is Canton.
Hell yeah, it is.
Not even the Football Hall of Fame, gold jackets and all, could save Canton from being on this list.
Nope.
Canton is just down the road from Akron. It used to be home to 117,000 people, but not no more.
Nope.
Today it's more like 70,000, and still shrinking. Outside of the Hall of Fame and all of its fame and glory, Canton has some real problems.
Gee, you think?
The violent crime rate is 1,044 per 100,000 residents, while the property crime rate is nearly 4,000 per 100,000 residents. Come for the Football Hall of Fame? Stay because your car got stolen. I mean, this happened at a Canton Walmart not too long before I uploaded this video. And earlier in 2025, this and this happened. Damn! The economy here is in shambles too. The median household income is below $40,000 per year, and 1 out of every 4 Canton residents lives in poverty. The leading industry in this area used to be steel production, but now it's healthcare. And if you thought those numbers were bad, just wait until we finish out the top 5. Before we do that though, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons. It just takes a few seconds of your time, and it would be much appreciated by me if you did.
Just do it!
Thanks. Number 5 is Toledo. Toledo had great geography to start out with. Being located right off of Lake Erie helped industry thrive here in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, but the economy here over the years has shattered. Glass manufacturing is still present in this town though, just not as much as it used to be.
Nice work, Captain Obvious.
The violent crime rate is 1,109 per 100,000 residents, while the property crime rate is just shy of 3,000 per 100,000 residents. The local police say that crime has gone down in 2025, so it used to be even worse, and hopefully things can continue to improve here, if what they claim is correct. Along with the glass industry, auto manufacturing is still big in Toledo as well, specifically Jeeps. But these days, an economy that's built on glass and Jeeps will bring a city down to a poverty rate of 25.4%, which is double the national average. The median household income? That's a little bit over $30,000 per year less than the national average. The crime rates along with the failing economy is a big part of the reason as to why the population in Toledo has shrunk by over 100,000 since 1970. It's not just the city either. Altogether, the Toledo metro area has lost about 15,000 people since 1980.
Yeah, that's a big number. Not.
Really, it just makes the area look stagnant. While the next place on our list is eerily similar to Toledo, just a little bit worse. Number 4 is Dayton.
Yikes.
Dayton is just up the road from the Nasty Natty. Unlike how Toledo's economy went all in on glass and auto manufacturing, Dayton was more like a jack of all trades, master of none. Manufacturing was more diverse here, but the place was still largely dependent on industrial manufacturing. What led the way here was the aviation industry, auto manufacturing, and of all things, cash registers. But not no more.
Nope.
These days, the leading industry in Dayton is healthcare. Just like 90% of all other Rust Belt cities, healthcare has led the way economically. That's why you keep seeing 534,000 high schoolers around the country anymore choosing to go into nursing school, dental school to be an assistant, or some kind of other medical assistant, because all the legacy pollutants from all the industries of the past have poisoned us all, and now if you're smart enough, you can get yourself into the right position to profit off of it.
Okay.
Alright, yes. Alright, so Dayton's violent crime rate is through the roof. It's at 1,182 per 100,000 residents, and the property crime rate isn't any better as it's over 4,500 per 100,000 residents. The crime rates here are a big reason as to why Dayton has fallen as much as it has. You thought Toledo was bad, well, Dayton has lost an even higher percentage of its peak population, making it one of Ohio's more depressing cities. Drive through the west side and it looks like a tornado cleared it out in some spots. Plus, the poverty rate here is rather high, wouldn't you say? And by the way, the poverty rates just seem to keep getting worse as we get closer to number 1 on this list. High poverty rates aren't always associated with higher crime rates, but a lot of times, they are. The next place on this list isn't too far away from Dayton, and it's like Dayton's little bro in a lot of ways. Number 3 is Springfield.
Been there, my friend.
Springfield made the national headlines in 2024 during the presidential debates when Trump claimed that there were migrants eating cats and dogs.
Don't talk to me.
There was a lot of truth to what he was saying, not the eating cats and dogs part, but overall the overflow of migrants from Haiti part, yeah, that was spot on. One of the biggest problems with that was just how many of them were driving cars that shouldn't have been driving cars, and they were getting in accidents. Lots of them. In fact, I made a video on all of that last year, and you can find a link for it in the pinned comment if you really want to know what all the chaos was about.
Yeah, I'll make sure to get right on it.
Anyway, Springfield has been in decline for a long time, way before it hit national headlines. The town thrived off of the manufacturing of farm equipment and other machines, along with being the headquarters for Crowell Collier, which was a national publishing company that owned a couple of magazines. Once the industry here declined, that left the working class in town with no jobs. Poverty rates went up, the quality of the city schools went down, the tax base went down, people left town, and the crime rates went up. These days, the violent crime rate here is over 1,200 per 100,000 residents, and the property crime rate is over 4,500 per 100,000 residents. In Springfield, you have a 1 out of 83 chance of being the victim of a violent crime. It's a big part of the reason as to why the population has dropped here by over 20,000 people since its 1960 peak. And while the poverty rate isn't as high as it might be in some of the previous places on this list, those numbers sure aren't anything to brag about.
Nope.
Springfield can brag about not being either of the next two places on this list though, as there's quite a large gap between 3 and 2. In fact, it might be the largest gap on this list. Number 2 is East Cleveland.
Duh.
Some of you might be surprised that it's not number 1. East Cleveland is east of Cleveland.
Gee, you think?
This place is no different than any inner city Cleveland neighborhood though. It's kind of like with what I was saying about Whitehall earlier in the video with Columbus. Well, East Cleveland used to be home to as many as 40,000 people back in 1950, but today, try 13,000. That's a loss of nearly 30,000 people, or 75% of its population. There's only a handful of cities in the country that have seen that drastic of a population loss or worse. Just drive through the city today, look around, and it'll all make sense. It's sad that in America we have such segregated parts of our urban areas like this, but it is what it is. The violent crime rate is over 1,300 per 100,000 residents, while the property crime rate is over 2,600 per 100,000 residents. That number is actually down from what it used to be in the 80s and 90s, and still to this day, there's many years or many other lists that collect crime data in their own way that list East Cleveland as being the most dangerous city in Ohio. Whether or not it's the first or second, you get the idea. Things aren't good here. Isn't that right, Mayor?
What up, Brandon King?
What's even worse here is the poverty rate, 44.3%. Nearly half of the residents here live in poverty. And the median household income is equal to that of a part-time job cleaning truck stop bathrooms.
Gross.
There's only one more place on this list, and that place might or might not be close by. Number 1 is Cleveland.
Cleveland!
For a long time, Cleveland was Ohio's largest city. But not no more.
Nope.
That title belongs to Columbus now and probably will for the rest of our lifetimes. Cleveland finds itself on the most dangerous large cities list in America year after year, although it's never really in the top spot. Usually it's in spots 5 through 10. The violent crime rate here is over 1,600 per 100,000 residents, and the property crime rate is over 4,600 per 100,000 residents. Basically, Cleveland residents have a 1 out of 61 chance of being the victim of a violent crime. Overall, the attractions in downtown is fairly safe, so you should feel good about seeing the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or maybe even a game in town, if you like losing. Just don't venture too far out into the east side and you should be good. Meanwhile, the economy here is about as bad as you'll find for a major city in the country, with the poverty rate being over 30%. But good news for you, because if your job transfers you to Cleveland, there's more than several good suburbs to settle down in right outside of Cleveland. Honorable mentions for this list includes Moraine with a property crime rate of over 7,000 per 100,000 residents. Damn! There's also Lima and Youngstown. Well, there you have it. Those are the 10 most dangerous cities in Ohio. And if you're one of the winners in the comments section saying, "Oh, what about Michigan's list?" Well, I have that for you. I put that together before I put this together, so feel free to watch that here. Hope to see you in that video. Peace.